And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos. I'm here along with my good friend. He is the man, the myth, the legend. The man who is burdened by the weight of podcasting demons and podcasting weights like you would not even imagine. It's Josh Peterson. How are you, my friend?
Good, man. Just tossing those coals in the fire, seeing what happens. Something might explode, but there are other ventures.
You are the man, the myth, the legend behind Humanity Media, and it goes without saying that Humanity Media is hot and heavy with a whole bunch of things in the fire right now. So tell everyone out there what's going on with all the great stuff that's including your brand new show that's premiered this week on Humanity Media.
Yeah, we got a brand new show called The Morning Monitor. It is our daily show where you can get your fix of tech and nerd news. It's kind of in beta right now, so if you want to subscribe to us on YouTube, leave us some comments. We're actually looking for some feedback, so we would appreciate that a great deal. And there's also our other podcast, the Super BS Games Cast, and What About This? Yeah, so please check us out. Leave us some feedback. We'd be more than happy to respond to any comments or concerns you might have.
And we truly appreciate you listening to this show, the PCC Multiverse. It's also in the top 10 in the podcast radio network, and we truly appreciate you helping us achieve that level. And also the Monday night show, that is the Pop Culture Cosmos show, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific on the podcast radio network. That is the number one show on the network, and we truly appreciate it because it is all due to you out there. If for some reason you cannot get the show live on the podcast radio network, hey, we've got a bevy of downloadable options for you to try, including Stitcher, TuneIn, Podcast.com, Google Play, Mixcloud, iTunes, of course, ESO, Tangibound Network, and Google Play Network as well. You can rate us, review us. Hopefully it's 5 stars. We truly appreciate it. We're working hard to bring you a great show each and every time. And we just, like I said, if you do download the podcast, we always throw in a bonus podcast from the family of networks here at Humanity Media, Pop Culture Cosmos, and Game Source as well. So we got a great episode for you today. We're going to be talking a little bit later. We're going to be talking a little bit later on about the NES mini console that was such a big hit over the holidays, if you could actually find them, and the stunning decision that Nintendo has made that has left both Josh and I scratching our heads. We'll discuss that in a little bit, later in the show. But we've also got DJ Plasma Z. He is actually going to be here. It's Elijah Harrison. He's going to be here on the show in a little bit, talking about his great song and that we're going to play here in a minute as well. He's going to be talking about his interests and the way he creates music. And also he wanted to talk about Destiny 2. So stay tuned for that. And Anthony Barberin, I'll tell you what, we had a great conversation earlier in regards to the NBA because it's playoff time starting this weekend, and definitely want to check that out. His thoughts on all the NBA playoff matchups and our choices, our picks for this season as far as the season's award for MVP, most improved player, best defensive player, coach of the year, and all the other awards that everybody is so keen on indeed. Excuse me. So I'll tell you what, right now, there's the biggest news this week, I think, has to be something that kind of surprised me. Not that it was released, but that people are everywhere just going gaga over it because it's actually numbers-wise, it's actually exceeded any of the previous efforts from Disney when it comes to trailers. The Beauty and the Beast, which just was really just watched by everyone, that is now in second place to this trailer. The Star Wars, obviously, The Force Awakens, that was a huge trailer that was watched, and that is now actually it's surpassed that as well. I'm talking about Thor Ragnarok, which has surpassed Beauty and the Beast, which has also surpassed Star Wars The Force Awakens, and is now the fastest and largest most viewed trailer in Disney history. So I ask you, Mr. Josh Peterson, lover of all that it is Thor movies in the past, compared to me, who has not exactly enjoyed them as well as you had. But I ask you, your thoughts on the Thor Ragnarok trailer, and do you think this is the kickstart this series has needed? Because Thor's been, kind of pushed to the side. Everybody else has been getting the glory, but will this bring Thor back into the realm in really a great fashion? And do you think it'll actually move him up to the top of the food chain in the Marvel universe?
Yeah, I think this trailer looks hilarious. I like the idea. Sorry. I like what this director's trying to do. I can't ever remember how to pronounce his name. It's like something Waititi. I don't know if you've seen his other movies, What We Do in the Shadows, and his Flight of the Conchords. Yeah, was the other one. But he's clever in the way he does things, and I think that he did a good job of taking two relatively not disliked, but like two heroes that didn't fly so well solo in their own movies, and he did a good job of putting them together and making something that people might actually be interested in, because it looks it doesn't have that darkness that Thor: The Dark World had, which wasn't a terrible movie, at least in my opinion. I know we differ greatly in that category. But he did a good job of making these characters likable and making the movie seem funny. Because I know he said it was going to be like an 80s buddy cop comedy, and I was kind of curious how they were going to make that happen. And after seeing the trailers, I'm looking forward to it a great deal. And I know that Jeff Goldblum is he looks like he's probably an interesting character to watch. But yeah, there's a lot of hype. I'm ready for it. I'm excited to see more footage, more trailers. What I really want to know is how much of Bruce Banner are we going to see, and how much of the Hulk are we going to see?
He's a friend from work.
Exactly.
But I want to ask you this, because like I said, I was very impressed with it as well. But does every movie have to start off with some rock anthem riff? I mean, I am from that general time frame, and I love rock anthems. But does every superhero movie have to start off with it? It's just the trailers are concerned. They're just always just start off with it. And it just seems like they all want to follow that same type of formulaic process. But once we got over that, once that was, to the side, obviously seeing Mjolnir's hammer get, thrashed within the first minute by Cate Blanchett and her character was truly awe-inspiring. In fact, my daughter was just like, whoa, as it's something that we did not expect, and we weren't seeing coming a mile away. And to throw that out in the trailer was definitely something that got our attention right away. So kudos for them for doing that. And I just thought it just throughout, it just seemed like a really, really fun film as opposed to what I've seen in the past, obviously with the previous two Thor movies. So it looks like, as far as what I've seen, it looks like it's going to be a little bit more lighter, a little bit more fun, and more maybe a little bit more campy than we're used to seeing out of the Thor films. Almost like in the vein of the Ant-Man film that came out, a couple years ago and whatnot. But I want to ask you this: if it holds true, and this is going to be a complete, I was saying not complete, but a kind of veering off into a different direction for Thor. Obviously, also Doctor Strange will be included from what we know already as well. How do you see all those components coming together, not only from the hero standpoint with the Hulk and Doctor Strange, and also maybe Loki mixed in there from what we saw as well, but we don't know how much time is devoted to him. What are your thoughts as far as it coming together, as also from a villain standpoint with Jeff Goldblum's character and also Cate Blanchett's character as well?
See, that's where things get interesting, because are we going to have an Amazing Spider-Man situation, or are we going to have like a safe, a healthy balance of villains? Like, is Jeff Goldblum going to be involved more in the film than just the gladiator guy? Like, when they leave the gladiator planet, is it going to switch? Because I know what's her name, Loki's daughter. I can't remember what her name is, but she's Kate Blanchett's character. If they go that route in the movie, she's responsible for sending Thor to the gladiatorial planet. So I wonder like how those two things are going to intertwine, and
also Anthony Hopkins' character, I believe, at some point in time is going to be sent.
Will pop? Yeah, he'll pop up somehow because that's why Doctor Strange is involved. So yeah, it'll be a balancing act, and I think that if anyone can handle something like that, because of the tone of the film, we've seen the comedic tone of the film, and I think that if anyone is equipped to handle something like that and handle it well, it is this director.
Indeed, it looks like it's going to be a very good mix of action and lighthearted fun, and definitely, I think it will bring out a side of Chris Hemsworth that we've been waiting to see, because in real life he seems like he's a little bit more jovial and more a lot more like the way he is now in Thor Ragnarok than as opposed to maybe the more serious side of Thor that we saw in the first two films. So it'd be nice to see that lighter side that we've seen in those. I don't know if you've been able to see those Marvel shorts that have taken place over the past few months that they've, about in the office place where he's in the office with the workers and whatnot, and having a type of interplay, and also sharing a apartment with one of them as well. That was, those are moments that people have been waiting to see from Chris Hemsworth as Thor for a while now, and it's just great to see that they've now transferred that into the Thor Ragnarok movie, and despite all the obviously doom and gloom stuff that's going on, and also as well having to serve the overall higher deed of trying to make sure it ties into the Marvel the Infinity War universe. So there's a lot of challenges indeed, and it looks like hopefully that they'll be able to pull it off. But do you think that's also a challenge as well, trying to tie it into that Infinity War universe?
Yeah, that's always going to be a challenge. I'm sure, we'll see some kind of tie to Thanos or the Collector or something, whether it's in the movie itself or in the post credits. But from what I understand, this movie is definitely a tie-in to this is the lead up to Infinity War. So something has to happen here that leads into Infinity War.
It definitely looks like it indeed, because it's getting close. The clock is starting to tick, and when Thor Ragnarok does come out, it's definitely going to be less than a year. So we'll all be awaiting in great anticipation and seeing that film setting up the Infinity War is going to be a great challenge indeed. What are everyone's thoughts out there about Thor Ragnarok? You can let us know by getting a hold of us at popculturecosmos@yahoo.com or on Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, or Humanica Media on Facebook or Twitter. But right now, we've got a great thing for you right here on the PCC Multiverse. It's going to be, again, DJ Plasma Z coming up right now with Supernova. And after the break, we're going to be talking to Plasma Z about his musical style and love for the Destiny franchise. This is the PCC Multiverse. And we're back once again with the PCC Multiverse. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly appreciate everyone being out there listening to us, and our great show indeed. If you get a chance, check out our Monday show, the number one show on the Podcast Radio Network. It is the Pop Culture Cosmos Show. Catch it 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Podcast Radio Network. Well, it's been a great show indeed. We had the Super Bro Game Station Gamescast, and also as well, we've had bits from the Morning Monitor. Had a great conversation with Anthony Barberin and also DJ Plasma Z, aka Elijah Harrison, about all the stuff that they're up to and their thoughts on not only what they're doing, but also the NBA season as well, the postseason coming up right around the corner here. It's been a great episode indeed. I want to, before we head on out, there's just got to be something I got to talk to you about. A stunning turn of events that came up, pretty much later in the week here, and that was Nintendo deciding to discontinue the really popular and really hard to get NES Mini Edition. What are your thoughts on that? Because I'm still scratching my head of why they would do something is that's such a I don't know. It's just really kind of weird that they would make this type of decision.
Yeah, it's I don't know why. It was really surprising when that popped up in the news today. Because the retail stores were selling it for like $200 or $300 above the MSRP, and it was a hit. Like I remember people waiting outside of Toys R Us to buy something like that. It was almost, if not more, it had more interest in it than the Nintendo Switch did around launch time. But yeah, it's a weird thing, and I'm hoping that they're like my personal theory from trying to put it all together is that they are trying to, maybe they, either the parts are hard to come by, or they're going to discontinue that to focus on the Nintendo Switch and the Virtual Console. So maybe you can get all these games that are on the classic on the Virtual Console. Maybe that'll be an announcement at E3. But yeah, other than that, like it doesn't really make sense to have discontinued this because it sold so well, and it's just kind of like, if we've learned anything from Nintendo over the years, it's that they love money. So I mean, this just doesn't really make any sense to me.
Well, if you go to eBay, for example, right now, they're already telling people that this has been discontinued. So the price may have jumped up even more. It is now currently, for if you wanted to buy one right now off the rack at eBay, it's going to be costing you about $380, $400 at a minimum. So that's truly just still very outrageous for was it $59.99 console? Is that correct? That's the MSRP on it from Nintendo.
Yeah, it's about $60 if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so it's ridiculous that people were paying this, but people were paying this in the first place. And now it's going to be almost like a really hard to find item, which is going to drive up the price even more. I don't get it. I don't understand. Like you said, it must be an issue with parts, but because if it's an issue of just not wanting to continue it for some reason or other, it's not because of sales or demand from consumers, because the consumer demand on it is still extremely high, and just seems ridiculous that you're not going to go out and make more of these units, because it's just, I don't know, it just makes me scratch my head. And we're still having the same issues with the Switch about availability there as well. And I tell you what, it's, I don't know. It makes no sense business wise to continue something that is to discontinue something that is so hot, so wanted by the consumers, and really it was really hard to get during the holiday season, and it's April and it's still hard to get, and now you discontinue it, makes it even more befuddling. So very, very strange decision indeed on Nintendo's part. Just wanting to leave all that money on the table and just saying, there you go, we don't want it, because I don't know, it just seems very, very disturbing indeed that they were never able to accommodate the consumer properly with a product that was sold and could be easily or regularly gotten by the individuals, by a normal person just walking into a store can't buy the product at all because of the demand that was there, and a light amount of production that was made for it. So very troubling indeed. But if you have a question or a comment you want to make about Nintendo's discontinuing the NES Mini Edition, please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com or popculturecosmos, Humanican Media, or Game Source on Facebook, Twitter, or Twitter. So you just let us know on any one of those channels your thoughts, and we'll definitely relay them here on the air. Plus, I'll tell you what, it's just a very, very shame indeed. And I'm hoping that if the SNES Mini Edition comes out, that they won't make the same mistakes indeed. Well, it's been another great show here indeed. I really want to thank everybody for listening. Josh, any last thoughts on Humanican Media before we head on out for the Easter weekend?
Please follow us on YouTube. Check out the Morning Monitor. Tell your friends. Like I said before, we're looking for feedback because it's kind of in the beta stage right now. So we greatly appreciate that. And follow us on Facebook, follow Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook. Obviously the more of a following you have, the more stuff we can do and the more good stuff we can bring you.
Indeed, that is correct. Yeah, I just tell you what, Humanica Media it's the place to go for all the great stuff as far as what they're doing. And if you want the daily geek news or the daily movie news or the daily tech news or the daily gaming news, that's the place to go to indeed, because they really do a great job right there with the morning monitor. So be sure to check that out indeed on Humanica Media networks. And I'll tell you what, if you can't there, we're going to be sharing them on the Pop Culture Cosmos and also Game Source as much as possible as well. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's been another awesome trip into the PCC Multiverse, and it's another beautiful day in paradise here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We want to thank you for listening, and here's hoping you have yourself a great day.